Welcome to the Elevate Hair Show. I'm your host, Tatum Neill. We've got a great episode lined up for you today. Our good friend Renee Gadar will be joining us. We're going to get caught up in all the latest hair and makeup trends in a new segment of Double Tap. And we're going to preview and give you an update on the fight to end hair discrimination on our news segment, Hair Now. Let's get rolling. Love that bumper. Obviously, we've been expanding the show and recreating it, reimagining it. Sets here, it's great. And then we've created these bumpers, and that's for Double Tap. Maybe it's controversial. Sorry if it is. It's pretty funny, in my opinion. But let's get into it. Double Tap, we take all the best content from Instagram, put it on a TV show, and then we put it back on Instagram. Let's get rolling. First up, we have QQ Pico. With this editorial just masterpiece here. We've got some locks kind of thrown in there and then some horns. I'm not sure what the story is here. It's sort of like a woodsy punk vibe. Super awesome. Love the editorial. Oh, almost forgot. Got to give that a double tap. Next up, Alex Galcanya, and just a beautiful short cropped shape. I love the androgyny of this look. I like the color, and we're seeing a lot more short haircuts for the summer. We're seeing color everywhere, and I think people are pushing the sort of the norms of genderhood and what's an appropriate shape for who's wearing it. And this one, I think, sort of clicks all the boxes, and you get a double tap. This one's really dope. I'm loving seeing braiding be in the forefront of fashion. We're seeing braids featured all over the place in magazines and social media feature pages. And I like just kind of getting a little bit of how-to, seeing some of the detail in here, and just beautiful work out of Shelia Frick Hair. Give that a double tap. All right. Next up, sometimes we post stuff on Elevate Hair because we think it's beautiful, and the algorithm just doesn't want to show it to you. This was one of those sort of looks. I just love curls, and this is a great one from Curls with Alexa. Beautiful look and just simple photo. Maybe it's a selfie, but I just love seeing the curls, and I love really the fringe, and I think that's kind of what makes this look a little unique, is to be able to wear fringe with curls takes a lot of courage. For the hairdresser, it takes a lot of courage. Like, how much shrinkage are you going to get? Is it going to land where you want it to? This was certainly well executed, beautiful. You get a double tap. Some more texture here. Slow-mo fro. So good, so good. So much to say about this. I can't entirely articulate why I love this. I think I just love shape, and shape is really trending right now. We're seeing a lot of people just embrace their natural texture, and having a great shape is the way to do it, in my opinion. This is from Tiona Blanc, also known as Tiona White in real life, and you get a double tap. Here's some Elevate art for you. This is from Pigment, which we feature a lot. And she's been doing some great instructional how-tos. A lot of the stuff she does is wig making, but just really beautiful stuff. And I love seeing this process, the inspiration from the painting to the hair, and just seeing how she's executing it, really just kind of putting that canvas behind it to sort of stabilize the hair and paint and duplicate the shape. It's just really beautiful. You get a double tap. Boom. Another reel. Obviously, reels are taking over Instagram, and so we're featuring a lot of them. But I haven't seen rainbow locks before. And this takes, and this is by Coco Did That. It takes a lot of patience and knowledge and understanding of how to lighten locks in a way where you can add color like this. And I think this is really beautifully executed. It's going to grow out well for this client because, it's sort of in the middle of the hair and her natural hair is a little darker. So I think she'll be wearing this for a while, and we couldn't wait to feature it on Elevate, and you get a double tap. Boom. This I thought was super beautiful, and this is from Joe Zhang out of Taiwan. It was a Mullet Monday post. Obviously, we're a little partial to mullets, but just whenever you get two models in the same photo, that's always golden. Not just because it's two, but it's hard to get two people to have that perfect expression in the same photo. And so that's really great. Obviously, the hair is really cool. Seeing sort of tipped fringes or lightened roots a lot. Love it. Sort of reminds me of Billie Eilish a little bit, but beautiful work. You get a double tap. Now we feature this model a lot, Beauty by BB. She always has cool stuff. We feature her for Mullet Monday. She usually has great wigs, but I love this makeup detail. I just think it's gorgeous all over. Feature her a lot. You get a double tap. Now this is technically not a hair image. This is a image of, actually from a tattoo artist. Let me give them some credit. L's for 2. And this is, we saw this featured on United by Short Hair. It's obviously short hair and a mohawk. We love our friends at United by Short Hair, but wow, what a cool haircut and what a cool tattoo to sort of round it out. Dope. You get a double tap. And then last for this episode, Anne's RSB. This is sort of a makeup shot. We do have a separate page, Elevate Makeup, where we do feature makeup. But this is like when Elevate Makeup and hair collide. And I really love this sort of, kind of reminds, it's a little bit of throwback to Euphoria, that's sort of taking the little bit of the fringe and pulling it down, but adding a little bit of a braid to it gives a little extra effect, and adding in some piercings on the hair as well as the skin. Wow, that is intense what's going on there. I like how they fused it all together, and obviously the makeup is really dope. Gonna give this another double tap. That concludes this episode's segment of Double Tap. And look, if you want to be featured on Double Tap on this TV show, all you got to do is tag Elevate Hair. We'll see your stuff, and you might end up on TV. If you follow us on Instagram or TikTok, you probably have seen us talk about the Crown Act at some point in the past couple years. The Crown Act is sort of a movement that's going throughout the country, and it is an extension of the 1964 Civil Rights Law that extends discrimination to protect your hair. You might be wondering exactly what that means. In 1964, the Civil Rights Law protects you as an American citizen from discrimination based off of your sex, from your race, and from your religion. But for some reason, hair was never included as protected. Hair was seen as an accessory, something other than who you are. And what we have seen countless times again and again and again is that people with curly hair are discriminated in the workplace and in schools because of how their hair grows out, right? So if you know someone or have curly hair yourself and work in a professional setting, you might have felt this pressure to straighten your hair, or might know someone who's felt the pressure to straighten their hair so they feel like they fit in with the rest of their counterparts, that they look similar. Well, where does this type of hair discrimination show up? And again, it does happen with all textures, essentially. It predominantly shows up in the African American community and is sort of like a little low-key way to discriminate people for something that they have no control over, how the hair grows out of their head. This law, this act, is being passed in state after state, but in my opinion, it's happening too slowly. Here you can see we have 16 states that have passed a version of the Crown Act or the Crown Act. So anything that's in dark blue has passed, Anything that's in dark gray is a version of it has passed. And then purple has something that's been introduced, and yellow means that there's pending legislation, right? So things are moving, but all those purple doesn't mean that they're going to pass. It just means someone's trying. And we have a few states that aren't trying at all. Now, how does this show up? Well, let's look at some faces of what hair discrimination looks like. So I've got this pretty dapper looking kid here, Jet, who was literally sent home from probably preschool at the age of 4 because he was wearing braids, which we know is a protective style, meaning that people braid their hair so they don't have to stress about straightening or making sure their hair is perfect every day. Kids are crazy. They're running around. A protective style like a braid, locks, or a bantu knot is a great way for a kid to wear their hair and have it be organized and controlled, right? Why are we sending kids home from anything because of how they look in this regard? He looks like a great looking kid. I talked about locks. This poor gentleman couldn't graduate from high school because he's wearing his hair in locks. And I'm sure some of you have seen the video of the poor kid who couldn't compete in a state wrestling tournament until he shaved his head. And they're literally shaving his head on the side of the mats. How dehumanizing is that? I showed some examples of men. Let's see how this shows up for women, in particular, women of color. Black women are 3.4 times more likely to experience hair discrimination and words used like unprofessional, as if how you wear your hair somehow takes away your abilities to perform in the workplace. How about kids? Black moms are reporting over 50% of the time that their kids are experiencing hair discrimination in the classroom. It starts often as early as kindergarten. And in poor Jet's experience, pre-K, 4 years old. Why are we sending children home for wearing their hair in these protective styles and in natural ways? It has to stop. So let's bring up our map again, because I've got some good news. You see, we're based in New Orleans, and that little yellow dot in the very bottom is about to change today. Louisiana has just passed, thanks to a lot of hard work from Representative Candace Newell, who we have featured here. All the people in this room, including myself, has worked so hard to get this bill passed through the House Committee, the House floor, the Senate Committee, and the Louisiana Senate floor. And today, the governor has signed the law. And as of now, in Louisiana, it is illegal to discriminate you based off of your hair. What a huge, huge success. And I'm sure you're wondering, if you're one of those 34 states that has yet to pass this law, what do I do? Number one, educate yourself, right? What are the laws on your book? How can you learn more about it? Who are your state legislatures? Go to thecrownact.com or go to their Instagram page at the Crown Act and see what you can do, what information is there for resources so you can contact your legislatures and sign petitions to get this happening. And let me say this. You're going to have to do more than just sign a petition. You're going to actually have to call your state representatives and tell them how important this is to you and your community. A lot of people don't know this, but your state representatives have to talk to you. If you send them an email, you write them a letter, you give them a phone call, it's their job as your representative to talk to you. So you have permission to talk to them, and you have permission to hold them accountable and make sure that your state is no longer going to discriminate people based off of their natural hair texture. It's really, really important. And once you do, please let us know. Let us know to Elevate Hair. We'd love to share your story. You can use the hashtag Elevate Hair or Elevate TV. And you can also use this hashtag that is sort of part of the larger Crown Act community, which is called Pass the Crown. Let us know your stories, and I hope that by this time next year, that those 34 states that haven't passed a version of the Crown Act go down to 0. Renee!
Hello.
So good to see you.
It's always good to see you.
I really appreciate you taking time out of your vacation to be on set with us today on our new set. Hope you like it.
It's dope.
Thank you, thank you. And one day we're going to get you here on this couch in real life, but today we've got you on our beautiful Victorian screen here, looking great. You're in Tulsa, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm in Tulsa visiting. So my sister lives here, and she just had another baby. So I'm meeting my niece for the first time. And my best friends from college, we haven't seen each other for 11 years, and one of them just moved to Tulsa. And on top of that, Tulsa has Black Wall Street in Greenwood. So they have a really great turn up for Juneteenth. So this is like a trifold visit to Tulsa.
So can I expect you to be in Tulsa every Juneteenth from here on out, or is this just coincidence? It's 2 years in a row.
That's the thing. I'm coming to Black Wall Street every Juneteenth from here on out.
That's awesome. And for those of you who don't know what Black Wall Street is, you need to Google it. There's a whole thing. We're not going to get into this show, but I'm glad you get to be there. Unless you want to sort of reference it real quick.
No. Google 1921. I am here for everybody doing their own research because that's how we remember best, right? So Google 1921 Black Wall Street.
Yeah, it is shocking and horrifying, to be honest. But I think it's important for people to know. So I'm glad you're there, and looking forward to seeing your stories later on social.
It's good.
So I wanted to do a little quick catch up. It's been a minute. Obviously, we redid the whole set. We're doing this thing proper now. But you've been a busy bee and have done a ton of stuff. So if you can just kind of catch us up, where you been in the last, 6 months, a year, where you been, what you doing, get us caught up to speed.
Yeah, well, like I was subcontracting for Aveda before, and I was part-time with you guys, with Neil. This is why when Tatum calls, I come running. But I went full-time to this position officially last September. So really in the last 6 months, I've been learning and growing a lot in this role in a full-time position. It's a lot different being full-time than contract, and I didn't think the difference would be that, the gap would be that wide. But so a lot of this is me like learning on the go. I have been a part of the summer campaign. I've been a part of the holiday campaign so far. I think that my position is really dope because I feel like a part of all of these campaigns, these creative shoots, and then I'm also a part of research and like I help with research and development because I'm also still behind the chair and I get to test a lot of these products, not just on set, but like on my clients. And it feels really cool to troubleshoot. I don't know, sometimes when I hear from product companies, like they're testing on all hair types and textures, it's sometimes difficult for me to trust. Where with this, like, I feel like I am able to put a stamp on these products saying that it's testing on all types and textures because like I'm seeing it and using it with my own 2 eyes and hands.
Yeah. And you do. So like you are in the salon. Renee is like one of the few artists, or sort of like, artists in the big sense of the world with a brand who do product development, who do creative, who do education, who is so committed to her clients. You're in there pretty much every weekend doing hair on real people.
Yeah.
And that's great to hear. You get to actually kind of play with those products on real people. I think what I like about this role is that, or this, what you're doing with this brand, with Aveda, is that you're creating things with plants. Is there a plant, 1 or 2 plants that have surprised you in this journey that you're like, wow, this plant is way powerful? Like, is there an ingredient or something that you can really speak to? Because a lot of people don't appreciate, like, it's easy to kind of go to the lab and just throw some chemicals together and get a result. But you're doing this with plants. So what's your kind of like, wow, this plant, amazing?
Yeah. I'm going to answer that question narrowly in a second, but broadly, I also just feel like people don't understand like sometimes people might miss the power of what Aveda is actually putting on the shelf. Like you are getting things as close to nature in a bottle that helps your hair to perform the way that you want. And historically, you have a lot of not great things for your hair to help you use as styling products for your hair to perform the way that you want. And I really just have a fundamental belief that like the things that were put on this earth were meant to heal and restore us. And if we can have products for our hair and scalp that use the earth that we live in as a resource to aid or help those things, I think that's closer to what is meant to be for us on a human level.
Love that.
My favorite product of all time is the Nutriplenish Spray Leave-In Conditioner. Like that thing has so many useful properties. And when I was learning about that, I think, most impressed about the power of the sand ginger. Like I
Well, hold on,
hear
wait. Say that again. Sorry. The power of the what?
sand ginger.
Sand ginger. Okay.
Yeah. So somebody, I don't know how they ran into sand ginger.
I didn't
really
know that existed. So
right.
yeah.
I did. Well, I know of ginger, right? I
Yeah.
didn't know the specificity of sand ginger, and I didn't know what it did. And it is a natural UV and heat protectant.
Whoa.
And like it blew my mind that like, so my HP, my higher power is God. It blew my mind that God gifted the world with like a natural sunblock for
Yeah.
us. And like I think that was the turning point for me. Like, wow, we really can use plants to do this thing. We just have to have really smart people to source and find these things.
Right.
And figure out. But I was just like, wow, we really can use plants to do this thing. And then when I learned about sand ginger and they were talking about like high percentages of naturally derived and plant powered, like 94, 96, the whole Nutriplenish line, I don't think anything is below 94% naturally derived. And the performance specs on them are so high, like, and so is the naturally derived. And I'm just amazed by all of that. But I think the turning point for me was learning about the powers of sand ginger in that spray Nutriplenish leave-in conditioner. And it just like, it kind of opened up my world, like my thoughts on like what these plants can do in our products for us.
Well, that's really cool. And I did not know the depth of importance of this ingredient. I like most hairdressers, does it work? Does it not work? And that's kind of, there we go. I'm good. And I'm just going to trust, that it's going to, perform. And that's what I care about. So I love hearing about that. And there are so many plants out there that we still haven't discovered. And I think that's why it's important that we try not to like cut everything down before we figure out what's in there, Enough of my environmental high horse,
and then,
but yeah. Go ahead.
So it's also important that you have a company, if we are going to be sourcing the earth, if we're going to be sourcing the ground to get these things that are going to be in our products, it's also important, if we're thinking about this in a full circle, we're also thinking about how important it is of how we source them and ethically sourcing them. And Aveda has the highest commitment of anyone I have seen to source ethically. So, it's not just the sand ginger, but like the extra mile that Aveda goes to source that sand ginger and make sure the right people who are on the land that the sand ginger exists on get paid in retributions for the work that they do in harvesting and like, protecting the land that it's harvested from. So
great. It's hard to put all that information on a bottle, but it's great to hear you talk about it because it is important.
Yeah.
Let's kind of fast forward a little bit. What's coming up on your, we were talking about Nutriplenish. I know that you're coming to maybe New Orleans for something. Can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah, I'm very excited to be coming for the Essence Fest. Essence Magazine has been a part of my life growing up. And so I think this is the first collaboration I have been a part of with Essence. And because Essence has always been on my radar and just like automatically shows up on my Instagram feeds and stuff like that because of the things that I naturally follow, like I'm just really excited to just be in a space with them as a company and just kind of show them Aveda. I think before I got to Aveda as a Black woman, I never felt that Aveda faced me as a demographic. And I think that maybe there are many who still feel that way. And this is such a great bringing together of so many Black and brown bodies. And I'm so excited to introduce them to Aveda, Nutriplenish line in particular, because I think historically the way Black women have been taught to dress their hair is kind of like dressing it for the time, but not really caring for it for the long haul. Like, how do I get my hair to do what I want it to do right now? How do I get it into the style that I want to get it in right now? But not necessarily thinking about like, what are the impacts of the products I'm using while I have this style in on my hair. And I'm just so proud of the Nutriplenish line as a whole, because it's such a high performance, and I trust that it's taking care of the hair. So like, we're not sacrificing style for the health of hair, which I think that we used to do that a lot in the past. So I'm just really excited to get on the ground with Essence and tell all of these beautiful Black people about all the beautiful things that Aveda has for them.
Yeah, I think it's great, and there's just like a happy coincidence. As you know, I've been sort of working with Representative Candace Newell on the Crown Act here in Louisiana, and we've had a lot of success, and I'm really happy to, we're gonna get the Crown Act passed in Louisiana. I wanted to sort of ask you to kind of enlighten us as to why the Crown Act is important, and why should people care about how you wear their hair, or how you wear your hair?
Yeah, I think that the ways in which to wear my hair safest or most efficiently for me, like to accommodate a life that I have that might be fast, right, is usually in a protective style, maybe locks. And historically, women with highly textured hair, mostly Black women, like let's say in military forms or in sports, like the regulations had always been that you had to wear your hair a certain way. And just like many things in this country, that certain way, the standard way, was a Eurocentric driven standard. And so many couldn't comply easily with that standard because that is not easily what they are. So what the Crown Act is essentially saying is that the ease that others have in dressing their hair, we want the ease of that to exist for everyone, which means we need to broaden what the standard is for how you wear your hair in different domains: military, sports, school, in the workplace, in the office. So who made up the rule that my hair being in cornrows and braids was unprofessional? This is like a safe way for me to dress my hair. I could wear this hairstyle with a suit. My behavior can be professional, but you shouldn't be able to police my hair on whether or not it's professional or not, just like you can't police my skin on whether or not it's professional or not. And so I have to wear my hair in the ways that give me ease and protect my hair as well. And I should be able to do that if I also choose to play sports or enlist in the military or work in the financial district in New York City.
Yeah, well said. And you'll see when you come in town, there's actually a full mural that was, again, coincidentally, they asked us to put it on our salon. It's right in the middle of the Central Business District. I'm watching it unfold and documenting as the artist is doing it. It's going to look great. I'm really excited to have you in that space and with us for Essence Festival, and also for this kind of special moment in Louisiana's history, at least, where we're fighting to end hair discrimination, and honestly, I got to give you props that you helped me realize the trials and tribulations that people go through because of their hair, and that has been really pivotal in me understanding what's important in life and giving me that motivation to help. And I feel really blessed to have you in my life, and thank you.
I love you.
I love you too. I'm really excited to say this, that that we've got a little something coming up together, that Renee and I are nominated for the Hairbrain Video Awards. We are finalists in the creative category. I'm so excited about this. This is September 11th. We'll be in New York together, hopefully grabbing that trophy. I know we got some competition though. I gotta acknowledge that. But what I'd like to do now, Renee, because we filmed this project with Metric Creative in New Orleans. It was during the pandemic, and so you'll see us masked up. But Renee, I forget why you were in town, but we kind of just threw this together, and I'm blown away by it. So let's go ahead and roll this video we're nominated for the Hair Video Awards now. It's great. man, every time I see this video, I get like goosebumps and stuff, right? I mean, it's like the
Yeah.
Samuel and Jared, the guys who designed this set and did this video. I mean, hats off to them. It was great. Um, what's it like to see your work in that crescendo? What kind of emotions do you feel?
Um, the first two times I saw it, Tatum, I like actually cried. Like I had to wipe a tear away. And it's been a long time since I've seen it. So like now I still just get goosebumps watching it. I think, like I was along for the ride, Tatum, really honestly. You worked so hard to pull that together and get a team together and wardrobe and to make that come alive. And I mean, it had been so long that it had been so long at that point since you and I worked side by side cutting some hair together. And like at the time, I didn't know how beautifully it would be edited together. I think I just loved the experience of like working beside you, cutting some hair, and like I had been in just the texture lane for so long, and I feel like I I'm a hair cutter,
Yeah, you are. Great.
And I got to cut hair for this and also manipulate her texture. And like, I don't know, it just felt like um, I'm getting to work with one of my closest friends in the industry who understands my craftsmanship and me as a person. And like, we get to create this really beautiful understanding together and produce that. And I love every bit of it.
I do too. It was great working alongside you. I got to got to throw some credit to Savannah Netkin for doing the
Yeah.
colors. She did a great job. Savannah is obviously our correspondent and community manager for Elevate Hair, so she's kind of like our partner in crime at Elevate Hair, and she played a huge role in that too. Yeah, I can't. I can't. I mean, obviously, I knew it was good. I'm really humbled and flattered that we were nominated at all, and to be a finalist is great. So I feel like we've definitely won. But you know how competitive I am. I want to win this thing, and we're
Yeah,
we're
we are.
we're
Yeah.
up against some competition. We've got my good friend Chris Guidry, who works with us at Paris Parker, Van Council, and the Van Michael team, Antoinette. Like, we're coming for you. We're coming for you. We'll see you September 11th. Hopefully, we'll win. And again, if we don't, the ride alone was great. I'm just happy to be there. We've talked a lot about Renee, the artist, the educator, the hairdresser. Now I want to talk a little bit about Renee, the person. So we've got our sort of getting to know you segment here. These are just going to be kind of casual questions. Here we go. Right now, what are you currently listening to?
Ooh, well, Tatum, Drake just dropped his album last night at midnight. So,
That's
clearing
past
through
your
that,
bedtime. Are you listening to it? What's going on?
I definitely am. I'll stay up for a drop. You know what I'm saying? So, right now I'm making it my way through that. I usually don't like pausing a piece of work. I like to hear an album all the way through. Like,
Old school.
cool. Yeah, like that. So this one I had to divvy up because obviously the drop was midnight.
Right.
But it's fun. Like it's okay because it's like fun. It's like a dance. It's a dance album.
It's clubby.
And yeah, it's just clubby. It's like
Okay.
gonna be when I like hit my workout hard at the gym.
So I'll be picking up the album. I have not heard it yet. I was
Yeah.
in bed at midnight, so I wasn't
Yeah.
prepared.
And as we all patiently await what Beyonce's doing, what's
Always.
really on what's really on rotation is the Kendrick Lamar album, of which I have tickets to see on the 7th. And I'm like, I haven't been to a concert since COVID, and this is my first concert back, and it couldn't be the better concert to go to.
Where is he playing?
Well, he's doing a whole tour. He has 2 shows in Brooklyn, 1 in Long Island, and then he's like, hitting up the tri-state area.
I mean, is he doing the Barclays Center or is he doing a smaller venue?
No. So the 2 shows in Brooklyn are at the same. It's not at the Barclays. I remember the venue name. But it seemed like when you went to tickets for it, it seemed like a pretty big venue.
Okay.
But it
Cool.
didn't seem like. And then in Long Island, I don't even know what that place is called because I don't ever go to Long Island.
You don't.
But
Why would you go there?
Right.
Sorry, Long Island
but-
people. We joke.
Sorry, Long Island
joke.
folks. No shade. But the album is just. I trust him as an artist. I trust the journey that he takes me on. And like a lot of the times lyrically, I can hear his war with Blackness, with religion, with society, the dependency on one Black voice in a space to like bear the burden of like every Black voice, to like to be a steward of that voice in that space. I think a lot of the times lyrically, Kendrick says what I feel inside, but don't have the artistic expression to express it in that way that I wish. So he's just one of those artists. Like my two favorite artists of all time is Lauryn Hill and like Kendrick Lamar. And
Wow.
so I was patiently awaiting Kendrick's album, and it didn't disappoint me. And so I'm really excited to go to his concert.
I'm excited again to see those stories from that night. I'm sure it's gonna be great. What are you reading right now? I know you're an avid reader.
Yeah, so I'm reading a fictional. I all through COVID, I have been reading Black historic, Black information, nonfiction books, and I think like the time in the world that we're in, like that's all I wanted to devour.
Yeah.
So that's where I've been. But now I am branching out to nonfiction and powerful nonfiction Black works, and I'm reading a book called Homegoing by Ya Gassi. I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name correctly, but
Sounds right.
she's such a remarkable. Yeah, she's such a remarkable writer that the book is easy to read. It's not like I don't know. It's not pushy. It doesn't feel like it has an agenda. It feels like a real historical fiction, and it's just powerfully written, very thoughtful. It's a good one.
Um, okay, here a little hair related, but what is your favorite hair decade?
Ooh, I think I think it is the freedom of the early 60s.
The early '60s. Okay.
Well, the 60s into the late 60s. It's just kind of like that whole arc. I really, it's kind of like an awakening, this awakening arc. And even though, like, I personally am not going to rock my hair picked out in a fro, because that's not like my aesthetic of choice, the freedom of the ability to do that and be unapologetic for it, and the power of the space that people were learning to take up. I think the representation of all of that in hair was most poignant for Black people during that time. And I think that's why I like it the most.
Love it. It's great. Glad you answered. Okay, here's some silly ones. And I know the answer to this. I know actually the answer to a lot of these, but we're going to go through them because I ask everyone these. Okay, so here we go. Rapid fire. These are yes or no, binary, yes or no. New York City slice or Chicago deep dish?
New York City slice.
Do it. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Early riser or night owl?
Both. I don't get sleep.
Fair. Dogs or cats?
Ooh, dogs, child. No cat.
Nikki, Cardi, or Megan?
Ooh. Okay.
Nikki, Cardi, or Megan?
Nikki.
Okay. Pixie or Bob?
Bob.
This is the one. I don't know the answer, but this is going to start a firestorm. Nike or Adidas?
Nike, hands down, all day, every day, no questions, unequivocal. Picks Nike. Who picks Adidas? Who picks that?
Well, people will be picking Adidas, and so these rapid fire questions, we're going to feature these all the time here at Elevate Hair, and I knew where Renee lied, and I kind of tend to be more stripes than checks, although I am wearing stripes right now, checks right now. I'm wearing Nikes right now. I showed Renee. But I want to know, who do you think, at the end of this year, who do you think is going to say, who's going to be answered more, Nike or Adidas? What's your guess?
Nike.
You think it's going to be Nikes?
Nike.
I think it's going to be Adidas. And right here in front of everyone, I'm willing to bet $100 at the end of the year that stripes will overtake checks on the Elevate Hair Show.
It's a bet. $100. I'm in.
All right, you heard it here first. I've got witnesses, thousands of witnesses. Renee's on checks. I'm on stripes. 1 year from this date, we will review, and then I'll just transparent. Either we'll do it on the show, we'll bring you back on, and then we'll announce the winner. And I hope I'm not giving you $100, but we'll find out soon enough.
Be giving
We'll see. All right. Well, Renee, always a pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your vacation and family time to be with us here on the Elevate Hair Show. I hope to see you again really soon.
Real soon. Thank you, Tatum, for having me. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye.
We moved here about 3 years ago. There's a lot going on this block. We have the Ace Hotel across the street here. There's the Parker Barber. We absolutely love being downtown, connected to the vibe of the city. I'm excited to give you guys the tour today. So the first thing you'll see here is that our stations are hanging from the ceiling. What this did is it allowed us to run all the electrical through the ceiling. So at night, it's super easy to sweep and clean up hair. Another really cool component of these stations is that they have this beautiful sconce lighting. It's by this company, Juniper, New York. I like this because then you get... All right, welcome to the shampoo room. It's really nice, relaxing area. Our clients all tell us how much they love this space because we have these really amazing chairs that I'll go around and show you. And another component that we get a lot of praise for is the lighting. So you can see above each bowl has its own light. So the room remains really dark, but at the head, they have their own sconce.
Man, that Garrison Neill guy seems like a cool character. I hope I get to meet him one day. If you have a cool new salon that you want us to feature on Elevate TV, just send us a reel, 90 seconds long, either DM us or tag us, and we'll feature you on Elevate Hair Salon Cribs. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you really want to see the full version of this interview, plus all of our old interviews, go to tv.elevatehair.com and sign up to our portal. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Peace.